Please bow your heads and close your eyes for opening prayer. Dear kind and gracious Heavenly Father, first and foremost, we'd just like to thank you for everything you have done that has brought us here today, for keeping not only us, but our loved ones safe as well. Please bless us, Lord. Put your hands over us as we prepare to step out into this uncertain world. Guide us to people who want to see us strive for greatness. Open our ears and hearts so that we may know the amazing plan you have waiting for us. And as we get older, help us to become more like you. Lord, this day is not how we imagine it to be, but we know that everything happens for a reason, and for this, we thank you. Please be with us on this very special day and help us to receive a profound message that will resonate with us now and forever. A message that will help us gain success, to walk in your footsteps, and to ultimately reach our true goal of seeing you in heaven. Thank you again for everything that you have done and will do. In your name, I do pray. Amen. You may be seated.
Good morning, everyone, once again. Before we give our welcome and remarks, first of all, I'd like to say you look beautiful out there. My graduates look fantastic. It's not the way you wanted it to look, but we're in an environment where we had to make some necessary changes. And families, it's okay to cheer. This is not the church house. It was sounding real quiet. So you can say, woo-woo! Before I give my brief remarks, I invited our superintendent of schools, Mr. Johnny Holliday, to come and give a few remarks.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning again, everyone. Certainly circumstances that we did not want to be under. However, we are here. We are here. Young people, I want to say to you, you know, it's formal to say congratulations. But trust me, this congratulations is beyond being formal. This is a sincere congratulations on you all being here today. Under the circumstances of being in a world, racial unrest, a pandemic, and yet you have persevered. So we are so proud of you, we respect you, and we love you. And so I say again to you, congratulations, class of 2020. Let's give them a hand. Now, before I go, I don't want to leave this space or outside before two people make sure you see me, being that we're operating not the norm, but make sure you see me because I have something for two people as it is the norm. On behalf of the South Central Conference office, the President Ben Jones, our executive committee, Sonia Creighton, Dr. John Nixon, we are so proud of what has taken place. And I would be remiss if I didn't say certainly for the work that Principal Dent and her staff has done with the young people, the leadership team. I'm often observing what's happening with the leadership team. And I want to say, because, you know, this is a joyous occasion, I did not know that Dr. Williams can rap. Did you all see her yesterday? Amen. But without further ado, I want to recognize our valedictorian for this year's 2020 class, and that is Kelly R. White. Kelly R. White. Excuse me, Kelly is our salutatorian. But that's okay because what's in the package is very, very much the same. You're good. And our valedictorian is Mark Babatunde Awaniyi. So congratulations to these young people, and certainly congratulations to all of you, class of 2020. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Superintendent Holliday, for your remarks. I had a lot to say this morning to the senior class. I walked in this building as your last principal before leaving for college. Challenging for you as you grieved the loss of your former principal, and someone new coming in to take up space, and you had to test me and I had to test you, but it was all good. When I arrived on this campus back in 1967, a vibrant, excited young lady who was intentional about attending Oakwood College at that time. But at the end of that year, in April 1968, during a chapel, we heard that Dr. Martin Luther King had been shot and killed. We were on this campus surrounded by exceptional leaders. Dr. Hale was our president at that time, and we had several leaders who surrounded us and protected us because there was unrest outside of these grounds. I've experienced the Watts riots. I've experienced 9/11. I've gone through the Vietnam War. When they had the polio epidemic, we had to take our polio sugar cubes. There are a lot of things taking place during my time to get to this place. Even an active shooter situation in Maryland when I was a principal of one of the public schools there that shut the school down. Parents were afraid to go pump their gas because they weren't quite sure what would happen. And I'm saying that for this purpose. Here at Oakwood University, the president of the college, of the university, sent out a wonderful reopening plan for students. I don't know if parents have received it. 27-page document that covers what their plans are for you who are planning to attend. But I want to admonish my young people sitting here, my children of color. The world out there is not very nice right now to you. Some of you are making decisions possibly to go somewhere else outside of these grounds. You have every right to do that. But I want you to know, you young people to know, on these grounds, and you might say, Mrs. Dent's trying to convince you to go to Oakwood, and that's the truth. I'm not lying to you because that's what I'm saying. With that being said, here you have leaders who will help you and teach you and show you how to stand after 4 years after you get out of here. When I left here, I could stand on my own 2 feet because I recognize that I'm a black, strong woman because I had leaders to show me. And they protected us, and they gave us marching orders. And I'm saying to you, here at Oakwood University campus, if they're reopening the traditional manner or they're going online, either way, you're going to have leaders who will be able to help you maneuver this crazy world. When I hear in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, young people holding COVID-19 parties to see who would be the first to get the disease, and if you did, you would win the pot. They collected money. That's what's happening on other campuses. And I don't believe they look like you. I'm going to say it again. I don't believe they look like you, who have parties to say, let's get this disease going. I also read a beautiful article from a young lady right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Her name was Caroline Rondell Williams. She's a poet. And she wrote an exceptional article to say, you all are out here fighting, talking about the Confederate monuments. She said, my body is a Confederate monument. She discussed her skin color. My light brown blackness is a living testament to the rules and the practices and the causes of the Old South. My skin is a monument. So I am saying to you young people, I don't care how smart you are, you're going to be held to a different standard. And I want you, before you leave and go out to this world that you are surrounded by, like your parents, they're strong black folk. And they want you surrounded by people who will protect you and show you and guide you. Is Oakwood perfect? No. But all I know a whole lot of folk who have left this institution, who are running this country, who have offices around this country, who are doctors, lawyers, judges, and they were educated right here. So this historically black institution, I'm admonishing you at this time to make the right decision simply because of the era in which we are living. So keep that in mind, knowing that this administration, we love you. We've done all that we could do. Some of these people have been with you for several years. I've only been with you one. And I want to thank you for allowing me to be a part of your life. And before I sit down, I want to give you a little advice about when it's time, or the appropriate time, young people. I received 6 invitations from young people. And I'm going to whisper to you. You can't make assumptions that the principal is going to be at your graduation. Learn how to invite people to your celebrations. So those 6 people have an envelope from Principal Dent. And I'm saying that to you to say, in the future, get to know these seniors that are in your, senior citizens that are in your church, in your community, in your family. Even if you don't have a hard copy of an invitation, like I got one that was electronic, but they thought of me. So I want to say thank you to those 6 young people. I'm not going to call your name out. I just have your card for you with a little something in it to say thank you for inviting me to your graduation. I don't want anybody to get my germs.
Good evening. Our speaker for the morning is Mr. Joey Kibble. Joey Kibble is a member of Tate Six who, after debuting in 1988 with the platinum self-titled Tate Six album, went on to record 3 more golden albums. Tate Six has received 10 Grammy Awards, 10 Dove Awards, the Trained Soul Music Award, and the award for BRE Vocal Group of the Year. Born into a pastor's home in Buffalo, New York, Joel spent his formative years growing up in Tennessee and Alabama, where he obtained the discipline necessary for his life's calling. Joel has had the privilege of attending Oakwood Academy for 2 years before transitioning to Pine Forge Academy in Pennsylvania and Oakwood University, where a solid spiritual structure was obtained.
Joel was invited to join Take 6 to fill the awesome responsibility of replacing former member and producer Mervyn Warren. Joel's parents' skepticism of a recording and touring career with a vocal group was challenged by his former music teacher, who assured his father that there are things Joel will learn from the opportunity of interacting with different cultures that he can never learn inside of a classroom. Providence also revealed Joel's unorthodox calling to ministry, as well as a burning passion for healing and restoration. Opportunities opened for Joel to write, preach, sing, and coach individuals in coming to know the great news of God's love for human beings. After returning to Oakwood University's LEAP program to complete his Bachelor of Science degree in Organizational Management, Joel went on to challenge those around him not to accept dysfunctional as a norm, but to push through healing and restoration through Christ. Joel loves his wife, Tina Kibble, and continues the incredible journey toward eternity with their daughters, Carly and Araya Kibble. After this special music selection by Wayne and Jeremiah, we will hear from Mr. Kibble. We look forward to the message that he will share with us today.
Principal Dent, Vice Principal Williams, faculty and staff, parents, supporters, loved ones, thank you for the awesome privilege to address your awesome graduates today. Oakwood Academy, graduating class of 2020. If you can hear my voice, if you know this is your day, if you know that Providence meant for you to be here today, and you were going to be here despite whatever happens around you, this is your day. I need you to open your mouth and give some praise to God right now and make some noise. It was meant for you to be here today. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, just, take the mask off a little bit so you can scream and then put it right back. I commend you. You are awesome. It was meant for you to be here. Now, don't get it twisted. I made it too. I'm here. I went to this academy for 2 years and I graduated. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. But my situation was nothing like yours. You had some setbacks that you dealt with that I never had to deal with back in the day. Setback number one, Oakwood Academy went through a major transition, a major time of change. In fact, as I understand, this is the last of these kind of classes that are going to be in that building. Is that true? You all haven't? Yeah. Oh, you need to own that. Yeah, you're the last Mohicans. You need to celebrate that because this year was not easy in upgrading, in stepping up, and transitioning, but you did it and you're here. Setback number two, you've made it through despite a world pandemic that has claimed over 500,000 lives and has affected over 11 million people all over the world. That was not easy, and I didn't have to deal with that back in the day. Let me show you why that's important. Of the U.S. teens that were impacted by COVID-19, 35% of those teens said that their future living situations have changed because of the disease now. 30% said their college start date has now been delayed because of COVID-19. 27% said they've decided now that they're going to have to work to earn money because of COVID-19. of the U.S. teens impacted by COVID-19, 18% said their intended career path has now changed. 13% said the school they planned on attending has now changed because of COVID-19. 9% decided from not having to attend college that now they're going to have to attend college because of COVID-19. 8% decided to participate in college classes, but online only. That's because of COVID-19. And 8% decided who were going to college that now they're not going to attend college because of COVID-19. I need you to understand that teens all over have been affected by this situation, so we know this is not easy. And this was no small feat. You've had to overcome a major world pandemic to get here today. But number 3, the atmosphere of social injustice has never been what it is today. Now, there might be some people today who graduated during the time of the civil rights, but it's nothing of what it is today. All you have to do is look on TV to be discouraged and be disheartened by what's going on. All you have to do is see that video one time of George Floyd being kneeled upon to have your spirit crushed. None of us had to deal with like we have to deal with today, that we have to stand up and actually say, my life matters. My mind matters. I am not insignificant. I didn't have to deal with that back in the day. You know, an 8th grade graduate put it nicely. She said, it's almost like your plans of 2020 have been dumped on by a huge truck full of dirt. And it keeps dumping on you, 2020. The fact that you have to choose 4 people to attend you today, it's been dumped on. I'm sure that wasn't your plans when you started this year. The fact that you have to wear a mask. The fact that you have to socially distance yourself and keep 6 feet apart. I know you weren't planning on that. The fact that you have to deal with these kinds of setbacks actually sets you apart from any of us who graduated. You've been dumped on. And you have to continue to deal with how you're going to emerge from being dumped on. So, I have 3 keys for you today. If you take these keys and if you use them, you are going to emerge from not just COVID-19, not just social injustice, not just the transitions that you see us going through on this campus. You will emerge from any situation that you have to deal with. And I'm here to share that with you. Number 1, you need to answer the question, who are you? Who are you? I don't just mean what's your name. Who are you on the inside? To understand who you are, you first have to understand what are your values. What do you value on the inside? Values such as honesty, perseverance, loyalty, diligence, integrity. What characterizes you? What do you value most on the inside? You need to understand that. In fact, you need to have a kind of clarity that's almost kind of like King David. Even as a young person, actually your age, King David had values. He valued what was put under his care. He always did an excellent job. Another one of his values was bravery. He had bravery and he practiced it every single day. You've got to understand what your values are. Because when you can understand what your values are, you begin to understand who you are. Values. You also have to understand, what are your core beliefs? This is what you believe at the core of who you are. Beliefs such as, you know what, if God is for me, then who can actually stand against me? Whatever I decide that I'm going to surmount, I will surmount. Abundance is out there, and I can have that abundance. What do you believe on the inside? Because whatever that core belief is, that's what's going to act upon your decision making. David was just delivering cheese to his brothers when he came upon a scene that shook him to his very core. The armies of Israel are now in front of the biggest threat they've ever had to deal with. But his core beliefs inside told him this is not acceptable. What are your core beliefs? Because when you get into your moment, those core beliefs will be lit like fire, and you won't be able to put them out. But you need to understand what those core beliefs are. You can also have negative core beliefs. You need to understand what those are. I'm not going to amount to anything greater than what my parents amounted to. I'm not going to be anything because of the color of my skin. I can't accomplish everything they accomplish. I can't accomplish as much as what's being accomplished around me. If that's your core belief, it's going to shut you down and shoot you in the foot every single time. You need to understand so you can identify and extinguish that core belief and replace it with a core belief that's going to shoot you to the top. You need to understand what your core beliefs are. What are those core beliefs? These help you to understand who you are. What's most important to you? What's the thing that you cannot do without? What's the thing that drives your life? What's your significance? What can you bring to the table? You need to understand that. You need to answer that question. That's question number one. Who are you? Question number two. What's your why? What is your why? Your why is that motor that's underneath every decision you make. It's that driving force that's underneath why you choose the friends that you choose. It's that driving force that's underneath what career you decide, what you're going to study in school, how long you're going to study. You are driven by that why. And if you understand what that why is going to cause you to emerge no matter what's dumped on you. When you understand your why, David had a why. When he walked up on a situation that was untoward, he saw this situation and realized it should not be. These are the armies of the Most High God. This is an uncircumcised Philistine, and I don't understand why we're being quiet right now. David was one of the first protesters who entered the situation because at that time, Israelis' lives mattered. And he decided to step up and face the Goliath he had to deal with because of that why. There's no reason why he should be threatening the people of God. You also see the absence of the why. Because Saul was still on the throne, not out on the battlefield. His why was a little bit obscure, so that when it was time for action, he could not step up into action because he didn't really understand what his why was. But when you're in the right situation and it begins to call on your values and call on your why, you cannot be quiet. Your why is usually larger than who you are. Those protesters of Black Lives Matter realize their lives are just not the lives by themselves to be secured and be defended. They actually need to defend all lives of color. That purpose, that calling is usually larger than who you are. That's how you recognize what your why is. And there are a whole bunch of causes all over the world, but which one connects with you? Which one will connect with who you are? That's how you recognize your why. Number 3, what then will you do? What will you be? Because of who you are and what you value and what your why is, what then will you do? Oh, that thing gets me excited because King David, when he saw the situation and he realized what was going on, his value system enacted. His why got into first gear and began to upload in the second gear. His why drove him to do his what? If nobody else can move on this situation, then I will move. And guess what? I don't need shields. I don't need spears. I don't need swords. I will take what's closest to me and I will use it to defeat you and to bring you down. What's around me? What's around me right now? I got stuff. Watch, David's been dumped on. But what David did was he looked at the dirt around him and he found stones. Because all he needed was stones. Now he picked up 5 stones, but he only need 1. I always wonder what the 5 stones were for. You know, but there were actually 5 nations in the Philistine nation. They all had 5 lords. And I always wondered about the 5 stones, like was he going to use the other 4? But see, here's what happened. I'm going to take 1 stone and I'm going to nail you. And I got 4 more in my back pocket just in case those other 4 lords have anything to say about it. I got a stone with their name written on it. You begin to understand what you have to use when you understand how to emerge when you've been dumped on. There are things God has put around you in that dumping that you will use to rise above that situation that you're in. And look, here's what it looks like. Here's what it looks like when you get to your moment. That moment will call you. That moment will call you out from where you are. It will speak to your why. It will speak to your what. It will speak to your value system, and you will know what your moment is. Will you rise when it's time? I started out by saying this. There's something different about you all. There's something unique about you, because when God tried to put me on the earth and he figured out where he was going to put me in the timeline, he didn't put me here. He didn't put me in the midst of all of these setbacks. He put you here. That means there's something you're going to accomplish that I never could. Now, I've done a lot of stuff. I'm not going to toot my own horn. He's done a whole lot through Take 6, but he's got something he needs to do through you that Take 6 can't do. And that's why you're here today. What's your who? Who are you? What's your why? What drives you? And then what are you going to do? I commend you. You're here. Congratulations. Oh, we look to see great things.
Class, we're here. We finally made it. I remember relocating here as a freshman in 2016, not knowing anyone. And now I really do feel like I've made friends for a lifetime. I love you guys. Well, we know we're here because of the blood, sweat, and tears of those celebrating with us today, but primarily because of God's amazing grace, and we are truly grateful. I admonish us to accept the charge of Mr. Kibble and to find the value in ourselves, but most importantly in God. Find our why, for our why will help us know our purpose and live life with integrity. And also to figure out what we will do with the tools that God has given us. God has already revealed to us our potential to thrive and survive in his strength through this earth-shaking and global pandemic that has abruptly changed all of our lives. So we must never forget where our help comes from as we enter into this new chapter in our lives, because God has great things in store for us.
Let us not forget the proverbs and pearls that our great institution has instilled in us as we enter to learn and depart to serve.
We have a slight change in our program. We're going to do the presentation of our diplomas, and after which we will do the presentation of the senior class. And I want everybody to know Mr. Joel Kibble, who was my first and second grade student. I also want you to know he was a shy child. And look at what God has done through you, because young people, when you figure out what you're made of and you go through experiences in life, you have something to say. So, Mr. Kibble, I just love you. And I am just grateful that you were able to present this charge to our young people. So, Dr. Williams.
At this time, I'm going to ask our platform guests to join us to greet the students. Mr. Holliday, Dr. Roper, Mr. Kibble, if you could also join us. You guys can stand on either side of the background here. And since Mrs. Dent shared some early teaching experiences, I want to share that one of the members of this class was a member of my first kindergarten class. My first year teaching, he was a kindergartner in that class, and he is now graduating, Jeremiah Davis. So very excited and proud of him. I also want to share just a few statistics about OAA's class of 2020. 100% of the students in this class were accepted to a four-year college. The highest total amount of scholarship offers for one student reached $1,069,000. In total, this class received just under $6.5 million in scholarship offers. I'd like to also share that many scholarships are pending because of the pandemic, and so that's just a starting point for this class, and you deserve to be commended for that. Also, the total amount of scholarships from Oakwood University is $851,000. 40% of our students received platinum or premier scholarships to Oakwood. That is the top tier of scholarship that the university offers. 100% of our students received scholarship offers from Oakwood University. I'd also like to make mention of the number of student leaders in this class. There are 6 class officers, but there are also 3 student association leaders. Our president, Kelly White, and also our salutatorian. Our treasurer, Jalen Joseph. And our secretary, Aaron Roper. I'm going to take a minute to share with you the universities that our students were accepted into. The Adventist schools: Oakwood University, Southern Adventist University, Walla Walla, Pacific Union College, Southwestern Adventist University, Andrews University, La Sierra Adventist University, Washington Adventist University, and Adventist University of Health Sciences. As far as other state, public, and private schools: University of Alabama, Birmingham, and University of Alabama, Huntsville, University of San Francisco, Tennessee State University, University of Central Florida, University of California, and several schools within that system: Jackson State University, Northwestern University, Penn State University, Xavier University, Swarthmore University, Princeton University, George Washington University, Howard University, and Belhaven University. Every year, the Southern Union provides a scholarship to 4 students based on citizenship. A group of students who are not a part of this class, and also a few faculty members, they get together and they select 4 students to receive this award. It is a $500 award that can be applied to the college of choice. For this year, our 4 recipients are Skylar Campbell, Jeremiah Davis, Ashley Fountain, and Jeffrey Nkosi. I also just want to take a minute to acknowledge 2 award recipients in different circumstances. A representative from these organizations would have joined us today, but they were unable to make it. However, I want to make sure that our students are recognized for this. There's an award in the state of Alabama called the Prudential Spirit of Community Awards. One of our students, Mr. Chase Pyfrom, was one of 4 distinguished finalists in the entire state of Alabama. We also had a student in her award. The company actually came to her house. We have pictures. They showed up. Kohler Company gave Autumn Leslie a 4-year scholarship. She will receive $4,000 every year to also be applied to her college of choice. And that's just a few of the many accomplishments from this year's class of 2020. Let's give them all a hand. At this time, we are going to begin to call our graduates to receive their diplomas and a few other small gifts from the school. As I call your name, please come to the desk and retrieve your items. You will come up and be greeted by our platform guests. You'll go down to take a picture with Mrs. Dent. While you are walking, I will also share the total and scholarship amounts that you have shared with us. And again, I want to stress to all of you that these are just the initial amounts. There are still many scholarships that are pending for our students. All right, the first row of graduates, please stand. Mark Babatunde Awani Jr. Mark received $1,069,000 in scholarship offers. Autumn Nicole Leslie. Autumn received $65,500 in scholarship offers. Katia Avion Parham. Katia received $168,000 in scholarship offers. Brian Ellsworth Dublin, Jr. Brian received $141,500 in scholarship offers. Wayne Frederick Antonio Buckner II. Wayne received $254,000 in scholarship offers. Chase Hanford Anthony Pyfrom. Chase received $184,000 in scholarship offers. The first row of graduates may be seated. Will our second row of graduates please stand? Skylar Sinclair Campbell. Skylar received $74,000 in scholarship offers. Jeremiah Christopher Davis. Jeremiah received $304,000 in scholarship offers. Trevion Lamont Fletcher. Trevion received $71,500 in scholarship offers. Ashley Monique Fountain. Ashley received $42,000 in scholarship offers. Jalen Eugene Joseph. Jalen received $49,500 in scholarship offers. Destiny Kreider Kamara. Destiny received $25,500 in scholarship offers. Our second row of graduates may be seated. Will the third row of graduates please stand? Jason Ashton James Lewis. Jason received $11,500 in scholarship offers. Dominic Andre Middleton. Dominic received $41,500 in scholarship offers. Ruth Ngunde Missouri. Ruth received $85,500 in scholarship offers. Jeffrey Luke Nkosi. Jeffrey received $380,832 in scholarship offers. Jaden Keyshawn Powers. Jaden received $11,500 in scholarship offers. Aaron Camilla Roper. Aaron received $41,500 in scholarship offers. The third row of graduates may be seated at this time. Will the fourth and final row of graduates please stand? Alexis Cherie Sims. Alexis received $11,500 in scholarship offers. Brandon Alexander Watts. Brandon received $41,500 in scholarship offers. Kelly Renee White. Kelly received $106,500 in scholarship offers. As Mrs. Dent joins us on the stage, will all of the graduates please stand at this time?
As you transition from kindergarten all the way through 12th grade, I'd like for you to hold on to your tassel on the right, and with all of your might, turn it to the left. You are on your way to college university! You may be seated. There were two things that it was real important for you to have: your sword, your Bible with your name on it. Use it. I had a friend whose child was on his way to college, and his brother needed a Bible. And he said to his father, "Give it to him because you don't use it." Use the word. And the other thing, you see those beautiful masks you have on that says 2020 COVID-19 graduates? You didn't even read it, did you? See, that's pitiful. We got that. This administrative staff made sure that when you hang your diploma, you hang that right next to it. So you will always remember you are warriors. And it's all about taking care of business, like my daddy used to say. So blessings on you, because I'm a true warrior. Blessings on you, young people, and may God bless you. And Eden Roper, I need to see you down here.
Congratulations, graduates. Congratulations to you. Besides warrior, you have other names that you are called as well. You have accomplished, you have arrived, you are now freshmen, you are now adults, and your life has now changed. However, I'm going to put another distinction upon you. I stand before you representing the Alumni Association on behalf of Dr. Jared Patterson. So the other title I want to give you that you can put behind your name is Oakwood Adventist Academy Alumni. I want you to understand what that means. I want you to look around, and you probably know a lot of alumni that are in the room because the alumni give back quite often to the Academy in monetary contributions as well as service. So we have notable alumni you have heard before, I'm sure, like our speaker today, Brother Kibble, and members of Take Six who have also gone through Oakwood Adventist Academy. But we also have Elder T. Marshall Kelly, Charles Bradford, Philip Leslie is sitting in the audience right now. That's another one. Dr. Mark Owani, I see him, one of our parents as well. There are several, I don't want to keep calling names, that went to the Academy, went to these halls. I see Brian Dublin and of course, Brother Pyfram and others. Sister Cynthia Douglas. I can keep going. But you are a part of this illustrious class of alumni, this illustrious group of alumni, and we want to see you be instrumental in giving back to those that come behind you. If that means nothing more than just coming to the school and talking to a class, or if that means digging in your pockets and giving $5, $10, $15, or $1,000, who knows what you can give. But we can all play a part in making Oakwood Adventist Academy being the school that it's supposed to be. Can you agree? So once again, congratulations on your graduation and congratulations on being a part of Oakwood Adventist Academy alumni. God bless you.
Hello, fellow graduates. It's my privilege and pleasure on this momentous occasion to speak in front of the visionary class of 2020. I would first like to take a moment on behalf of myself and my fellow graduates to thank the people that have brought us here today. I'd like to thank my parents for loving and caring for me and making the financial sacrifice to send me to the Academy. I'd also like to thank them both for always being there for me, as they are both responsible for the man I have become. I'd like to thank my mom, who got up early every morning to prepare lunch, drive me to school, and even when I drove, sent me off. From helping me gather supplies for projects to bringing my forgotten PE clothes, you've always come in the clutch. I'd like to thank my dad for the countless hours he has put into me, from academics to test prep, and just life in general. You're always there for me. I'd like to thank my siblings, Mari, Maya, Micah, Melody, Mariah, for always brightening my day. I'd like to thank my grandparents, cousins, aunts, uncles, because as everyone knows, it takes a village to raise a child. I'd like to thank my coaches and teammates for all the fun we had and the many tournaments and the long road trips. I'd like to thank my classmates, Autumn, Aaron, Wayne, Kelly, Destiny, Brian, Brandon, Ruth, Jaden, Jeremiah, Jason, Jeffrey, Jalen, Dom, Chase, Travion, Skylar, Tia, Ashley, and Alexis for all the memories we made, such as battling the juniors for the Spirit Stick, or selling snacks at the best class store of all time. I'd like to thank OAA administrators, Mrs. Dent and Dr. Williams, Mrs. Mitchell, Mrs. Green, and Mrs. Callender for their commitment to me and the rest of the OAA class of 2020. I'd like to thank anyone watching and supporting from home. I'd like to thank Mr. Daniels and Dr. Williams and Ms. Presley for their wonderful recommendation letters. I'd like to thank every teacher here at OAA for developing, nurturing, and affirming us for over 4 years. Over the years at Oakwood Adventist Academy, we have gained a wealth of knowledge and learned many valuable lessons. Ms. James taught us how to find the second derivative of a quadratic equation. Ms. Presley taught us the difference between ionic and covalent bonds. Ms. Woods taught us how to analyze medieval text. Ms. Swoop found a way to tie in African American history with every lesson. And Mr. Daniels told us how much community was founded upon discipline. All of this knowledge will no doubt be valuable as we go forward in life. But I think that the most important thing that we have learned over the last 4 years is that we can overcome any challenge. Over the next few minutes, I'd like to talk about the challenges we met and what we have learned from these challenges. I just told you that the most important thing we have learned is that we can overcome any challenge. More specifically, we can overcome any challenge with Christ by our side. For Philippians 4:13 says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I just told, over the years, I can attest to the fact that we have all faced challenges, whether those challenges be academic, financial, emotional, or spiritual. We all had our fair share of difficulties. Despite all of the adversity, with Christ who strengthened us, we made it. As many of us may know, the basketball team faced many challenges and adversity this season. Though this was not our greatest season, we did have moments of triumph. In the annual Texas tournament, we were playing a game to make the Elite Eight. We are down in the fourth quarter and Jalen scores. Now we are tied up and the clock is winding down. Dom gets the steal, dribbles up the court, and he dunks. The crowd goes insane. We end up winning the game by 6. No matter how bad the basketball season got, no matter how far the score, no matter how many losses we stacked up, we still didn't back down from this challenge. And in the end, we succeeded. Just like in life, no matter how far you go, no matter how depressed you become, how bad your grades are looking, just remind yourself that when you trust in God, He can and He will turn it around and give you a moment to dunk over all of your problems. For me, coming to OAA was a challenge in itself. I entered this school as a sophomore who had not been in traditional school since 2nd grade. I had to adjust the social dynamics of high school, and I remembered being worried for my first day of school, wondering if my classmates would accept me. Many could argue that this challenge could cause someone to struggle, not just socially, but also academically, as I was not used to the dynamic of teacher to students, WinReb, and many other things that come with high school. Even with these challenges, I think I did pretty well. With Christ, I overcame the many challenges that come with coming to a new school and a new environment. This year has been the biggest challenge we have ever faced as a class. As underclassmen, we all believe that we had the best graduating year ever. I mean, who could blame us? 2020 does have a nice ring to it. We all embrace the phrase, 2020, a class with a vision. Even with all of our vision, we could not envision what 2020 had in store for us. We thought we would be battling senioritis, but instead we battled the coronavirus. In 2019, people said 2020 finna be a movie. To those people, I want to just know the genre, tragedy or horror. Senior year is supposed to be one of the greatest years of our life and create memories that would last a lifetime. I understand that we did not have a senior year or the graduation we expected, but I will say that some of the fondest memories I've ever had came at Oakwood Adventist Academy. 2020, this year, our year is special and will always be remembered. As seniors, we are expected to face challenges that we have never experienced. During our senior year, we face various challenges as we transition from teenagers to adults. As the classes before, we are expected to flip a switch from children dependent on their parents to independent adults. But unfortunately, our coming of age story was thwarted by a global pandemic. I believe this pandemic and the year 2020 itself has offered our class its greatest and its most unique challenge. We never had a class trip. We never got to sign each other's yearbooks. Never had a senior skip day. We never had a final field day and a chance to claim the spirit stick we all know we deserved. We never had a last day of school. We never got the graduation we look forward to since freshman year. The things we missed out on, we will never get back, and I'm fine with that. In order to move forward, we cannot continue looking back. As Roy Bennett puts it, what's done is done. What's gone is gone. One of life's lessons is always moving on. It's okay to look back to see how far you've come, but keep moving forward. We must be comfortable with the fact that we will never get the senior year we desired. We must be comforted by the fact that all things work together for the good of them that serve the Lord. I believe we must be thankful that we are having this ceremony and not fighting for our life under a hospital ventilator or under the knee of a cop. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Ahmaud Arbery will never get to see their loved ones walk down the aisle as we have done today. COVID-19 has claimed the life of 509,777 people and counting. Kobe Bryant will never get to see Gigi flip her tassel. We are entering a world where some people still refuse to judge us by the content of our character, but instead they judge us by the color of our skin. But COVID-19 and racist bigots are no match for the Christ who strengthens us. I'm here to tell you that even through the heartache, even through the pain 2020 has brought us, we made it. With setbacks and missed opportunities, we made it. Through a global pandemic, civil unrest, and racial prejudice, we made it. Marching at protests with tear gas spreading and rubber bullets flying, we made it. To the visionary class of 2020, we have no reason to be weary. We have made it to the finish line. As singer-songwriter puts it, Richard Smallwood, don't be discouraged, for joy comes in the morning. It is my belief that God has set up our class for such a time as this. God allows us to encounter obstacles He knows we can handle. He allowed our class to face a global pandemic in their senior year. Jeremiah 29:11 reads, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." God has allowed all of us to endure 4 years of high school, 4 years of challenges. But I want to thank Him for strengthening us to finish and stand here today as graduates. As a final thought going forward, I'd like to leave you with a quote from Dr. Martin Luther King. He said, "If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving." Thank you. At this time, I would like to invite our Vice President, Autumn Leslie, to the stage. As she is coming up, I'd like to say that, as many of you know, Miss Woods, this is Miss Woods' last year as a full-time teacher at OA. She has taught us many lessons and spearheaded many fundraisers during our years at Oakwood. Miss Woods has been a wonderful class sponsor and an even better teacher. On behalf of the class of 2020, we would like to thank you, Miss Woods, for your strong years with the class. Can you please come up and accept your gift?
Said, "You want me to stay?" And I said, "Yes, but it has two meanings." But however, Mrs. Woods is retiring. You all may sit. She's retiring. And at first when she shared it with me, I thought she was just playing around because she was tired that day. But then when she sent the documentation that she was retiring, I understood. And I understood during the course of last few years, you lost your husband. And you always wanted to move out into the country and just enjoy God's nature and plant trees and food. And she makes soap. I bathed this morning with your soap. I'm still waiting for the rolls. Okay. She said this weekend. But on behalf of Oakwood Adventist Academy, the administrative staff, we want to provide you with a couple of tangible gifts. And number one, we didn't buy the apple tree, but we're going to give you money to buy the apple tree. So you can plant it, and then when it all blooms, we can come and get a few apples. And then there's another wonderful gift in there that you will say, "Thank you, Jesus, praise the Lord," in there. So on behalf of Oakwood Adventist Academy and the administration, we want to say thank you for loving these young people, loving the others that are sitting out there, allowing me as a new principal to love you and you loved me back. So thank you so much. Can I hug you? Yes, you can. She doesn't want to speak, but she said, yeah, well.
I really don't want to speak, but I cannot. I just want to say, you guys know I'm not leaving because of you. I'm leaving because the Lord has told me that he's given me something else to do. I really love you. I'm going to miss you. And I'm so grateful that this year, Mrs. Dent has allowed me to teach part-time 2 classes so that my separation from you won't be so harsh and so hurtful. So thank you. I love you guys, and I hope to see each of you throughout the community.
Thank you very much. About a year ago, Mr. Holliday, you will remember, we met with Mrs. Dent after the South Central Conference had offered her the position of becoming the interim principal of Oakwood Adventist Academy. So Ms. Dent and I had a candid conversation. It was in a small conference room, and she had a list of questions for me. And so she asked me a few questions, and I answered them. And then she asked me, what are some things I need to look forward to, or what things I should be doing as I prepare to become interim principal of Oakwood Adventist Academy? She asked me about the culture. She asked me about the parents. She asked me about the teachers. She asked me about a couple of other personal things. I should say not personal, but I would not want to share them today. And we had a very good discussion. But after that meeting, and as she picked up the mantle to move forward, our conversation was over, and she took the reins of being our interim principal. This morning, I'd like to open up that question and answer period, Ms. Dent. And I started looking back at those notes. I actually pulled out that folder that actually had those questions that I was answering for you. And if I could alter those notes, I would say this to you a year ago, what you have to look forward to at Oakwood Adventist Academy in your first year. First of all, Ms. Dent, you need to be prepared for a COVID-19 pandemic shutdown. With that, you need to move from traditional to virtual classroom instruction, notify the senior and 8th grade classes that all class trips would be canceled, graduations would be postponed, and then all classes, you need to notify them that all trips, whether educational or whatever, would be canceled as well. You need to arrange and organize a drive-by for 8th grade and 12th grade students where you and your administration and teachers would need to drive by each and every graduate's house and put a sign in the yard telling them how much we appreciate you and how much we are saddened that you can't have a real or true graduation. And then you need to put together a YouTube video to congratulate our graduates in 8th and 12th grade and kindergarten, and schedule a time for each separately to watch that on YouTube where they could be appreciated for being graduates from 12th, 8th, and kindergarten. But we're not done yet. Because we have a new building, you need to get out of that old building by the end of June. That means you need to go into every closet and clean everything out that belongs to Oakwood Adventist Academy so we can turn that building back over to the university. I don't care what you find, you need to go through it, determine if it needs to be kept, or you need to throw it away. You need to continue interviews for the 2021 school year because we have to get ready for 2021 in the new school year, so interviews must continue. And on top of that, you have to be continuous in our board meetings, and our personnel committee meetings, and our disciplinary meetings. All the meetings that we have, you need to continue doing that. And then finally, you need to plan for this graduation. And when you plan for this graduation, we're going to move the date 30 days, but I want you to plan for it in spite of temperature checks, number of attendees, number of parental attendees. Everything must be the same except you must follow the CDC guidelines for restrictions. Parents, students, stakeholders, whoever's in this audience today and those that are listening to me virtually, I don't know how she did it. But would you join me in congratulating Ms. Dent and this administration? Stand on your feet. I want to call Judy Dent. I want to call Dr. Lakeisha Williams. I want to call Ms. Callender. And I also would like to ask Ms. Mary Green to join me on this stage at this time as we say thank you. From our elementary, a student will give some flowers to Ms. Callender from the elementary. From the high school, we have a student from the high school. We have a couple of our parents that will give you flowers as well. And we know these flowers will die. We know these flowers will die. We hope that you will treasure them, and when they die, we hope you will realize that you are a part of us. And although the flowers may die, our love for you will never, ever go away. And there's also a monetary contribution that comes with this. We're going to give this to you where you could spend for yourself, by yourself, on yourself. But once again, for the last time, we appreciate each and every one of you. Join me once again, please, in thanking these ladies for the job they've done this school year. I can't give you a hug, but you know I would. I love you. I love you. I love you.
I wouldn't have been able to do it without these ladies here. And two other ladies in the back, Miss Mitchell and Miss Norton. And I love them. We work hard together. We don't question what we have to do. We may not always agree, but we believe this is God's school. And we have to do what God asked us to do. And I want to say one last thing. Superintendent Holliday hounded me all the time about what we needed to do, but he was right there assisting, picking up the phone, hearing us, what Oakwood is in need of. And Superintendent Holliday, he told me, if you had not been with this team at Oakwood Adventist Academy, he said, Lord, I don't know what I would have done. So Superintendent Holliday, I want our children to know we were intentional about making sure you had memories, because you heard us say it all through the year, create memories. So I trust that we have created a memory for you in the midst of COVID-19, because we loved you. We didn't have to, but because we love you. So thank you so much, Dr. Roper, for affirming us. But we did it also because God told us to do it. So keep us in prayer as we finish this school year. We thought we were finished May 22nd. And to prepare to move into the new building. And what we shared is we do want you seniors to come back and mentor or assist us with some of our students next year. Whenever you have a moment, just check in and we will gladly invite you in. So God bless you. Make sure he's at the helm of your life as you move forward to whatever university you choose. But I'm going to tell my brother, Mr. Lewis, this is where you need to be. Like I told my brother, he couldn't go to PUC because he'd end up in jail. And he came to Oakwood, and he is a successful administrator in New Jersey because he came to Oakwood, and he said his wife thanks him for his sister tearing up his full scholarship to PUC. You're not going. And he landed here. So I just called him out, Dr. Lewis, because I love him. But however, thank you so much for allowing us to be a part of your lives. Come on, Chase.
Good morning. It is my privilege to offer benediction at this time. Please bow your heads as we pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for being with us on every step of our journey as we matriculated through Oakwood. Father, you have been our perfect example, our master teacher, our physician, lawyer, and friend. Because of your love, grace, and mercy, Christian dedicated teachers, sacrificing loving parents, family, friends, and our hard work, we can celebrate this milestone today. Thank you for sacrificing your life for ours. Help us to remember that all lives matter because you died to save the whole human race, but help us also to remember that all lives can't matter until Black lives matter. Help us to be a beacon of fairness and justice to all of our sisters and brothers wherever we go. Please keep us under your watch and care as we depart from each other, but never from your presence. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
At this time, we are going to begin the dismissal process. We are going to dismiss a little differently than previous years. We want to minimize the amount of individuals in the lobby upon your exit, and so we will call each graduate one at a time. The graduate will exit down the middle aisle, and then we are asking the family members of that graduate to join them at the door. In the lobby, there is a backdrop. You can take a quick family picture, have your phones ready or cameras ready. You can take a quick picture. Mrs. Mitchell is out there. She will help you with that process. Then please exit the building. We also cannot congregate in the parking lot. We have to exit the campus as soon as possible. And so we are asking that this process go as quickly as possible. For those of you who left items in the cafeteria, go out, meet your family, take your picture, then go to the cafeteria and get your items, and you can exit out of that door, okay? At this time, we'll start with Mark Awani.